to complicate something that isn't that complicated. And so it's been really cool. Like I think I was the one who reached out. I found Otterly. I was using it for Press Ranger and for a couple of individual clients where I was running experiments, then reached out to you, and now here we are. The rest is history.
Amazing. So we don't want to talk too much about our products today, as we want to share really the juicy parts, right? The insights, the learnings we had in the last couple of weeks and months, really, in regards to the power of PR. But before we get there, quick intro on my end. I'm super excited to be here. I'm coming to you with my German English dialect all the way from Austria, Europe. I'm Thomas. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders here at OtterlyAI. And in my previous life, I used to run SaaS marketing teams of different sizes and forms and shapes in various software and technology companies. Actually, in my last role as VP of marketing, I led 30 people in marketing. And I kind of realized a few years ago that search is changing. And I kind of got a bit nervous of not knowing what's going on ChatGPT as I was spending so much money and resources and efforts on Google, which ultimately made me start OtterlyAI. As mentioned before, OtterlyAI is an AI search monitoring solution. If you want to give it a try, head over to our website. But yeah, day in and day out, I think about marketing and I think about how marketing can help um, tech companies and marketing businesses of all sorts deliver value. So that's my background. And yeah, with that said, I'll hand it over to you, Steve.
Awesome. Thanks for that. You guys have probably put this together, but I'm Steve. I'm the founder and CEO of Press Ranger. Press Ranger is an AI public relations tool that makes it easy to get good press for your business. Bit of background on me. Press Ranger is actually my fourth startup. I've done three others before this, all of which sold to large public companies. I kind of joke about this, but I started Press Ranger mostly out of spite. I'd had such bad experience with PR software and PR agencies. And I talked to so many other founders who were just in the same boat. And basically, when I sat down for what I wanted to do for my next company, I wanted to find the biggest, most boring industry where the general sentiment was terrible and innovation was low. And PR just checked all of those boxes. And so Press Ranger started in May of last year. It's grown to also about 12,000 users in about that time with no sales or marketing. And so we started as like this traditional PR software company, but now with how everything is changing within search and visibility and AI and all this stuff, it's basically become the de facto tool for how to rank your business on ChatGPT, which is why we call today's talk How to Rank Your Business on ChatGPT. And so if you listen to people on the internet, you'd think that ranking on AI search was a mixture of like dark voodoo and rocket science. The whole point of today's talk is to dispel a lot of rumors and myths about AI search, and also just to show you like actual practical techniques for how to rank your brand higher and more frequently on AI search. So today, like really the outline here is I'm going to show you how to figure out what kind of content ranks on AI search from within your category. We're going to dive into actual techniques that I and others use to rank higher. And then I'll also cover what I think the biggest opportunities are for brands and agencies in this space because there's so many. And then we're going to leave time for questions and answers. And as I'm talking, like Thomas, feel free to interrupt me, ask questions, do all these things. We can make this super interactive. I want this to be fun, not just me talking at you for the next 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to cover basically as many secrets as I'm allowed to, I will share. And again, if you're having a great time, if you're wanting more secrets, if you're like, wow, this is awesome, throw those emojis in the chat so I know we're doing something right. Does that sound good to everybody? Are we good to get going, Thomas?
Absolutely. People are throwing in
Awesome.
their emojis, so let's get to it.
Perfect. Perfect. I see enough emojis to start. All right, cool. So I live in San Francisco, and this is all anybody talks about. Like, I played golf with someone the other day who was asking me how to rank on ChatGPT. I overhear conversations all the time in coffee shops about this. So it's like, no, if you don't live in San Francisco and no one's talking about this yet, get ready because it's going to happen. I do think AI search is the new digital gold rush. It sounds hyperbolic to say it, and I almost have to like check myself every time I say this out loud. But I do actually think this is the first legit new digital marketing channel in a decade. There's 3 billion people who interact with AI chat on each given month. I have access to data across like hundreds of different brands on like conversions for this. AI traffic converts 3 to 7 times higher. The five is actually understating. So 3 to 7 times higher than like organic search traffic. What's cool about this is that if you do it right, users are coming to you pre-sold with credit card in hand, already having gotten the recommendation from something they trust. The real goal here, beyond anything else, is that we want the robots to do our sales for us. In order to do that, the robots need to know what we do, how we sell it, and how we talk about it. And that's really like the focus of what we're talking about here today. But just to give you like a little bit of background on like how I know what I'm about to teach you, I won't pretend like this is some kind of master plan. This is complete accident. But when ChatGPT turned on the ability to search the web in 2024 in August, I already had like 2,000 PR campaigns out from everybody using Press Ranger. And so when they flipped that switch, I saw from day zero what worked. This means that like across earned media, paid media, press releases, like every type of PR campaign, I saw the characteristics of what ChatGPT was citing from like the day they turned the switch on. And so already having the analytics, the publisher relationships, and the campaigns live just kind of meant I had a head start. And again, this is just sort of pure accident, which is awesome. And so now I've spent like a year distilling the ingredients of what performs the best on AI search, building that into Press Ranger, and ensuring that my users rank the highest within the categories they want to show up in. But I want to take like a little pause because I'm actually curious like how deep in this space everybody out there today is. So before I dive into what I know works, I'm curious to hear from you guys. Like, are you actively running AI search campaigns? Are you like creating content? Like, what are you doing out there? And what worked and what didn't work? Like, I'm curious. Or maybe you could say, I'm not doing anything. I'm just curious. Maybe you could say, I just love Press Ranger or Otterly or something along those lines. Like, I'm curious, like what's worked for you guys?
And maybe I'll open up a quick whiteboard here. So everybody on this call, like as Steve mentioned, right? We'd love to hear from you real quick. What worked for you? What are you testing? What are you seeing there? Feel free to head over to the whiteboard, leave a comment, leave a sticky note, or head over to the chat as well. But we'd love to use the group knowledge here, right? Before Steve dives deeper into the role of PR and earned media, we'd love to know from you what worked. And I mean, I'm a big fan of learning, right? So if you tried something, tested something from a GEO AI search perspective and it didn't work, let us know as well, right? Let us know. I think as a marketer, I'm always interested in learning from the stuff that didn't work out. So I'll shut up for a few seconds, but take your time and think about that question. And I already see some themes there. LLMS.txt file, blog articles. Why are you laughing, Steve?
There's just so like I love how new this market is and how like there's just no playbook. It's so awesome. And how like there's just tons of different things people are doing and trying. I was actually laughing because I typed in Reddit spam in all caps and someone deleted it, which I appreciate. I'm gonna try again. Reddit spam.
I mean, speaking of playbook, I'm not sure how you think about this, Steve, but I actually was talking to a colleague of mine last week that we should start like a Google spreadsheet where we collectively put together all of our playbooks, honestly, and basically share what worked and what didn't work in the past. Because there is so much, I think, fear on the internet, so much selling on LinkedIn, right? And I'm a pragmatic person. I wanna see what worked, what didn't work in the most non-emotional way. But what
Totally. Yeah, I have a guide within the Press Ranger Notion. I have like a giant doc that I've been putting all of my techniques and all that into, but we can make that public and put it into something shared as well.
nice, cool. You want to quickly reflect on what we see here on the whiteboard?
Yeah, I mean, I think the theme here is content, which is good. I think people are very, very warm on that. And I think what's cool about the content piece, and I'll talk about this more in a second, is that like because so few brands are doing this at the moment in the way that it should be done, it's actually pretty easy to do. And so content, even if done at like a 10 or 20% level, can actually move the needle more than you would think, especially in a non-competitive niche. I don't know what you guys have seen, Thomas, but like within software and some like specific competitive software niches, like if you're building a CRM or payroll software or something like that, this is getting a little bit more cutthroat. But if you're doing basically anything else, local
Yeah.
services, e-com, non-competitive software, any other niche, Like you can pretty much own AI search for your brand with not a lot of effort.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you're highlighting isn't, I mean, today's session is more focused on the off-page PR stuff, but I definitely recommend everybody to basically take an honest look at your on-page content, right? And how fresh it is, how relevant it is. And I think you can easily outrank your competitors by yeah focusing on some quality updates there. I'm a big believer in quality over quantity, so I'm not here to say, well, it's about programmatic content generation or AI slop, right? I don't believe in that, but I truly believe and see real good content outranking everything else on ChatGPT. But with that said, I want to get to your juicy stuff as well. So I'm gonna stop the whiteboard again. We will share that afterwards as well, and we can continue with your presentation.
Okay, let me figure out how to share this again. When you started sharing the whiteboard, I had like an almost heart attack too. I was like, oh my God, what have I done here? Give me one sec.
I'm sorry, Steve.
No, you're good. I just make software. I don't actually use it. Give me one sec here. Uh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Share. That should be good. You guys can see that?
It's starting. Screen share has to. Yes, we're good.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So, what works? The part that I think people miss about this, and maybe people know, is that luckily, if we want to know what content ranks on AI search, we can just ask the robots. So I'm going to run some searches here, and I'll show you how to analyze the results and figure out what actually moves the needle in the individual category you're searching for. So first off, here's a ChatGPT search for best CRM for small business. Here's an example of like a super cutthroat search where there's really high competition and people are very much paying attention here because there's so much revenue involved in a search like this. Just to give you like a little background here, behind the scenes, when I type in best CRM for small business, this doesn't actually search for that query. It turns it into thousands of little subqueries. I think the industry term for this is query fanning. That's what I've been calling it, so that's what I'll stick with. But basically, it turns it into thousands of little subqueries, and then it goes and pulls the websites from individual search indexes. If you're searching on ChatGPT or Copilot, Bing is the primary one, but they do use some Google stuff too. If you're using Gemini, it definitely uses Google. But generally from like Perplexity, from Copilot, from Grok, from all these things, you're going to get a mixture of like Bing and Google search results. And then what it does is it aggregates responses across those thousands of queries and then displays those results to you, just so you know kind of what's happening behind the scenes there. Okay, so best CRM for small business. I've opened up like the citation rail on the right sidebar there. What do you guys notice on the right sidebar there in terms of like a pattern? Like what do you see that's different there, or like that you notice at like a pattern level? I'm trying to figure out how to open up chat again too, because I lost my chat. I'm so bad at Zoom. I'm sorry.
Listicles, best
You
blog
see
post,
listicles? Okay.
listicles.
There you go. Listicle, everything here is a listicle, right? Every single thing. And so by listicle, I mean those like roundup style top 10, best seven. Here are the best nine things to do. Like it's that format. Let's look at another one. Here's one that's near and dear to our hearts, Thomas. Best AI search monitoring tool. Okay, again, right sidebar rail. What do we see? We see listicles, listicle. We also see a press release. Oh, and the press release is about OtterlyAI. That's interesting. And it's like ranking
Oh,
for this best AI search monitoring tool. We're just doing pattern recognition now, right? Like this is just like a piece of that. Okay, here's a Perplexity search for best lawyer in Dallas. I'll just kind of cut to the chase. All of these are listicles, except we're also getting one from Reddit now as well. I'll just show a couple more examples and then I'll dive in here. So, best mortgage lender in Palm Beach, Florida. Same thing, listicle, press release, listicle. Last one, best Aura ring covers, listicle, press release, press release. I can talk at length about like the types of content here, but Thomas, I know you guys ran an analysis on like millions of sites, right? Does this line up with what you saw from your citation analysis?
yeah, absolutely. And if we head over to the next slide real quick, I'm going to show you a couple of data points, right? To basically emphasize a couple of not only formats that we're seeing, but also website types. So the data is from September, so pretty fresh. It's about a month old, and we analyzed about a million websites and how they show up which websites get shown up and surfaced on ChatGPT, Google AI Overviews, and Perplexity. And if we look at the results on the next slides in general, I think, yes, I would agree 100% with the content format, Steve, that you mentioned. And I would also add one thing. I would add that those listicles, those editorial content pieces, most often sit on corporate websites, sit on brand websites. As you can see on this pie chart here, 52% of all website citations on AI search come from brand corporate websites. So the investments we as marketers have made on our on-page content comes through here, right? So yes, I think that's the good news. But we also see with 20% news and media, a big chunk, a big role towards news and media sites, be it small ones, be it big ones, all the way to industry ones. So I think I'm super excited about this session today because the data tells me news and media highly relevant for AI search citations. And last but not least, Reddit, right? With about 6% community citations, Reddit is big. Thanks for clicking through it. If we stay on ChatGPT, ChatGPT loves Reddit, Wikipedia News. I think that's the summary of this pie chart here, right? Yes, we as corporate websites do still get cited, but less often compared to the Google ecosystem. And if we even head over to the next one, I think we do see from a URL domain perspective that ChatGPT loves Reddit. I think that's by now, we've seen that on the internet, right? I think we can't neglect the fact that Reddit is big on AI search and it's super big on ChatGPT. But it's not only Reddit, it's Wikipedia. It's a lot of those news and media sites like Forbes.com, CNBC, Business Insider, and so on and so forth. So I think there's a true role of PR and comms here because I'm seeing this in the data. If we can go to the next slide real quick, we do also see, and I think that's the interesting, juicy piece, that there are differences depending on the AI search tool you analyze. ChatGPT is citing Reddit big times, Wikipedia big times, Google and Perplexity less often, right? So Reddit is also big organically, don't get me wrong, but it's not that visible on Google or Perplexity. On the flip side, if you pay attention to the middle chart where you see YouTube, youtube.com, I wonder why, right? But for some reason, Google references youtube.com quite a lot in their AI overviews. ChatGPT, not really a thing. So if you're big on YouTube, positive impacts, positive potentials for Perplexity and for Google, not so much for ChatGPT. And I wanted to bring this chart because it also shows us that search and how those search engines are developing is getting more complicated, is getting more complex as we look at these different platforms, and they all, to some degree, cite different websites and different types of content pieces. Last but not least, I want to show you this one here because I think it also paints the picture quite clearly that ChatGPT loves and news and editorial content much more than Google. So if you look at the top three bar charts here, you're going to see that ChatGPT is citing news and media websites more heavily compared to Google and Perplexity, which also kind of confirms what you said earlier. But with that said, back to you, Steve. If anyone is interested in the full study reports, message me or head over to our website where there's the full report available for free.
Awesome, thanks. That's great info. And so I kind of look at that as like that's the macro of like what all these engines are citing and sourcing. In the micro level, or sort of like for our own internal influencing purposes, these are sort of like the three things and best practices would make us for, and like the three things of like content formats that actually work. I'm going to talk about each one in great depth and how to use these to your advantage. But the main point here is that these things are consensus engines. And if I'm really like bottom lining what I've learned from more than a year of researching here, your brand just has to be everywhere. And so, yes, there's specific formats. Yes, there's specific sites that work better. That's really the focus of today's talk. But if we're really thinking about it at a strategic level, the more everywhere your brand can be, the better. And so PR is really like the secret to making that happen. But okay, so within Listicles, press releases, and Reddit, and I'll talk about some best practices, I'm going to go into like the actual tactics and techniques that I and others are using to win within these categories. I'm going to start with the most popular one because we already looked and saw this is like 90% of what commercial intent citations are citing, it's listicles. So again, like a listicle is that like roundup style top 10 article. I don't think anyone particularly likes these, but the AI search robots do. So now we're probably stuck with them more than we even were before. The biggest takeaway here, the more listicles you're on, the higher you're going to rank. The big key here is LLMs are using third-party mentions as a proxy for authority. So again, like as they're going and doing all their subqueries, if they're seeing you in 1 out of 1,000 listicles, you're not going to rank that high. But if they're seeing you in 80% of those listicles, you're going to rank really, really high. So the obvious next question, how do we get on listicles? There are 4 things that I and others have done. These are experiments that I've run. I can talk you through actual specific examples of how to do this, but these are the 4 that are really moving the needle from everything that I see. We kind of already alluded to this, but the first thing you can do that is the easiest and free thing that you can do today in 20 minutes or an hour is publish a listicle to your own site. You need a blog. This is easy and it's free and it works. So this is one that I did in the example below of best press release distribution services. I also pasted in the citation bar when you search for this in ChatGPT. Not only does this work, it's now working twice. So if you look at the citations on the right, I mentioned twice on that. Like that shouldn't be the case. I shouldn't be able to rank myself number 1. They should have some sort of like something there to like prevent that from being the case. But guess what? It works. It's been working for a long time, and it's by far like the easiest thing that you can do. So publish a listicle to your own site. Make sure you do that like today, because there's no way that's going to work in probably a year or anything like that.
Do you think it will
Number
work in
2.
the next 6 months, Steve? Sorry for jumping in. There was a question in the chat
No,
that I
no,
would like to
please.
pick up. Do you think
It's
listicles will work in 6 months?
this has worked on Google in various iterations for the last decade. And with Google, it still works today. It's just a question of quality and how high your domain authority is. So I think something's going to happen in AI search over the next year where they're going to start thinking about relevance and authority. And right now they're not, which is one of the reasons why right now this is so easy. But from an authority standpoint, like they're going to do something. I don't know what it's going to be, but like I think they're going to have a tricky time of doing it because they don't own the actual like search layer. So short answer, yes, I think this is going to work for the next little while.
Okay, amazing. Thanks for answering.
Okay, cool. Second one, do outreach to existing listicles. This is a Forbes piece that I got published in today, which is the coolest thing ever. And like Forbes is kind of like the holy grail from like a PR standpoint. But basically, if you look at your citations for your given target query in ChatGPT, the easiest thing you can do is just reach out to those authors. The key here is be nice. Don't like act like they owe you something or whatever. You can offer free access to your tool, and you can offer an affiliate link. You can also offer to pay, but I'll talk about that in a second. You can kind of do that softly. Basically, go grab like the 20 highest ranked citations, and Otterly is a great tool to help pull those citations out. Send emails to those authors, ask nicely to be ranked, and then like you'd be surprised at what happens. So this is a Forbes piece that came out today, top 10 PR tools for 2026. I'm ranked number 1. This was like an hour of effort. I sent an email to him. I got on a call, explained what I was doing, gave them free access to the tool. I didn't spend any money. I didn't give them an affiliate link. I didn't do anything. And now I'm number 1 on like a 2026 piece on Forbes.com, which is like an amazing win from a PR perspective. Definitely do this for all of the existing ranking articles. Okay, number 3, you can pay to have these published. So in the PR industry, people are really excited because people are talking about PR again. The thing is, all the PR people are confused because all their PR stuff doesn't actually work. There's a reason it doesn't work. On the top screenshot here, this is like an example of a normal like PR feature piece where like you're talking about one company. The leadership lessons every entrepreneur can learn from this random CEO. That's like what everybody pays to have published in PR. I'm suggesting, and I'm actively doing this for myself and other people, that like you should just do paid media with individual listicles. The important part is they have to be authentic and exhaustive and like mention competitors and be true. But the cool part here is that like domain authority doesn't actually matter that much, and recency is so highly favored within like the chatbots. It means that relatively cheap placements can actually work. So like you can spend anywhere from $100 to probably like $50,000 on like paid placements with these and do listicles. And like this is a great experimentation like resource for creating additional surface area where you're listed on a bunch of listicles.
Amazing.
That's paid media.
I want to add one thing to the paid media side, Steve, that I think I get that question by now every single day, which is ChatGPT actually citing sponsored content? Is ChatGPT citing and referencing paid articles, right? And the short answer from my experience, from my analysis, is yes, it is. So ChatGPT doesn't really differentiate between earned and paid as long as content is well structured in the HTML and is technically crawlable. There's no harm in paid, like, or no separation in that sense between paid or organic content on the media side. Would you agree with that, Steve, or how do you see that?
100%. So, I mean, like so many of the largest media brands, Business Insider, Forbes, Market Watch, all of these companies have like massive paid media organizations. And I wish that wasn't the case. Like when I entered the PR space, I was kind of hoping there was more of like an organic earned media component to this whole game. And there is, that's obviously a critical piece of it, but so much of this is pay to play that like if you did want to increase your surface area and you just had a budget for that, like this is obviously the easiest way to do it. I'm not suggesting everyone do this. I'm not suggesting, you spend thousands of dollars to get tons of placements, but that strategy does for sure work.
Let's ask the audience for a quick emoji reaction. You told us we need lots of emojis in the chat to get to the super secret stuff. So has anyone done paid media stuff and has seen some success in the past for AI search visibility? Give us a thumbs up or some sort of emoji on the chat as we go through the presentation. Fire. Jason is on fire. Love it. Boris isn't too sure. Love it. Cool. Let's continue.
Cool. Okay, so another one that I've seen work, do an exchange with other businesses. So if you email, when you go and look at your citations, you're going to see your competitors on there if you're in a mildly competitive space. And if you email them to get included on their listicle, you're probably going to get a no. But if you're in software and you ask other non-competitive software brands to do listicle exchanges, not only will you most likely get a yes, you're going to get a placement that's a really unique, high value surface area for ranking on AI search. I sent this little like snippet in the slide to my newsletter that ended up getting me a bunch of placements, but this one on the Inbox Ally tool ranks super well across Google and ChatGPT, which has been like an amazing, again, just like high value placement that no one else can probably get because I just did an example of an exchange. I'll also just again like to show you an example of like to hustle to how to get these. If you're out there and you're listening to this, you have a tech blog that has a domain authority higher than 40 and you want to do a listicle exchange, let's do it. Like these are the funnest, easiest ways to rank higher on AI search. And so if you just email me, it's steve@pressranger.com. Let's do an exchange. I can also like get people together to do a bunch of them if people are interested. Because like again, this is the easiest way to rank higher and increase your surface area across all of the AI search chatbots there too. I'm gonna keep moving because I'm looking at time here. Okay, not all listicles are created equal. Make sure I've done a ton of data analysis on like which ones ChatGPT is actually citing. Write them in first person from the point of view of an expert. That means don't write them in third person and don't just not qualify who's actually writing it. Say, hey, I'm an expert in fill in the blank. This is my criteria. Highlight the data and methodology you use. It seems like robots are as lazy as humans. So make sure you include lots of summaries, lots of TLDRs, and lots of like main key takeaway points to make it easy for robots to parse them. Schema data is also super important too. I won't cover that in detail because it's relatively straightforward. Okay, cool. Press releases. I'm going to start press releases at a very high level. Press releases have been around for forever, and they're this very weird thing where you can spend $5 on Fiverr, or you can spend $5,000 on Business Wire and still have no idea what you're going to get. Generally, press releases, if used correctly, are good for SEO. They're good for backlinks. They're good for as seen in badges, and they're good for owning branded search, especially for a new domain and just general brand awareness. But when I started Press Ranger, it was like this super weird thing where everyone who came in originally, like a year ago or a year and a half ago, was like, we want a way to publish press releases that actually go to real outlets without spending thousands of dollars. And so I was super naive back then. And I was like, oh, I'll just partner with the best press release company. And so I went out and I ran like 20 press releases, and all of them were terrible. And so basically, I spent way too much time making my very own newswire, which at the time was terrible and it sucked and it took like 8 months. But now it's awesome because I can push a button and distribute news for me and for my users directly to Business Insider and MarketWatch and Yahoo Finance, like all of these like highly cited AI domain publishers. And the most important piece here is that I have full control of the metadata and all of the settings behind each release. And I basically found like, again, from having data since day zero, like which ones actually get indexed in AI search. And so at the moment, I'm the only one who can guarantee that any press release you publish will get indexed by AI chatbots across the board. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, Copilot, Gemini, all of these. It's a very long-winded way of saying like a very easy, straightforward way to show up in AI search is to run a press release where we're targeting it towards a specific prompt. And I'm going to show you an example here. Okay, here's a press release that we did for a mortgage lending company in Florida. They wanted to rank for best mortgage lender in Palm Beach, Florida. The thing is, on the press release, like rules and regulations, we can't just publish a press release that says Ideal Lending is the best mortgage lender in Palm Beach, Florida. Business Insider would chop my head off and I would lose my contract. We need to figure out how to like format this in a way that it's actually like news. So this is like the highest ranking press release format for targeting individual like commercial intent queries that usually have like best in them. And the key here, like the rule beyond anything else, is that the target query needs to go in the headline. So in this case, we just used their milestone of reviews, which also is awesome because chatbots love reviews. We made this format of headline, and I'll show you exactly what happens after we publish it. We have placements now on Yahoo Finance and Business Insider and hundreds of others. And we have these target keywords on these super high authority domains. And we've done all the behind the scenes magic that we do with AI Wire, which is the concept of publishing directly to these chatbots. And I'll show you how this ranks. So on ChatGPT for best mortgage lender in Palm Beach, Florida, it's number one. On Google AI Overviews for best mortgage lender in Palm Beach, Florida, it's number one. On Gemini for best mortgage lender in Palm Beach, Florida, it's number one. I'm not saying that every press release is going to have the same results. Each search is different. It has a different competitiveness profile. It has a um, different like pool that it uses when it pulls from queries. If you're interested in like how you get to number one and whether a press release is going to work, easiest way to do that, I can do it if we have time for Q&A after this, or just email me and I'm more than happy to help you draft a press release and figure out how to get to number one. The takeaway here, though, is that press releases are a great way to not only do all the stuff that press releases do, but also build your own content footprint to rank higher in AI search and get more frequently cited for your target queries.
Amazing. So it's all about defining the target queries in the first place and then being creative with the press distribution, right? So
Exactly.
it's kind of putting an SEO mindset on top of PR distribution. Is that kind of how you would frame it?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's right. There are specific ways to get the chatbots to target and actually index the press releases that we publish, but we handle that on the Press Ranger side of things. But then, yes, it's really about kind of SEO and AI optimizing the headlines and actual content that we're publishing too.
Amazing.
Okay, number three, I'm going to hop into Reddit. As Thomas showed, it's one of the highest cited domains. Um, Works for everything. So it works for SEO, works for AI search, works for direct marketing. Really, the bottom line here is like you should be where your customers are, and probably your customers are on Reddit. The reason LLMs love Reddit is because humans are, in theory, doing the spam prevention for them. But because Reddit is so highly cited, people are very frequently trying to game it now. If you've been paying any attention to the space, you see how sort of like red hot this is. I'd say like the prevailing wisdom around this is to do what I call fancy spam. I'll show you an example of that. Fancy spam is like this top thing here where this commenter put like, oh, focus on structured data and clear, concise content for GEO. Tools like fill in the blank can help with this. This works now. I don't think it will work long term. And there are tons of agencies and tons of people who are doing this with their entire existence, meaning they have hundreds of different Reddit accounts that they've warmed up and gotten karma for like doing all of these things. There's so much energy going into spamming Reddit at the moment. I have to just imagine they're going to figure out a way to stop this or figure it out or just like blacklist it at some point in the future. At the end of the day, too, I kind of ask like, Do you really want to do that with your time? There's just a better way to do it. If you look at the comment below, this is the founder of Octolens, which also makes a great product for listening. Um, you can just disclose who you are in a conversation. Like that doesn't break any of the subreddit rules. It's much cleaner. It's much more authentic, and like you can do this in like a volume that's completely effective and completely works for on the Reddit side of things. And in my opinion, it's just a better, more foolproof way to do Reddit marketing. Um, Thomas, what have you seen on the Reddit side? I know you talk to tons of other folks who are running campaigns here. Like, are people spamming Reddit? Is that working? What do you think?
Well, I mean, to your point, I think that it works to some degree, right? As in the sense of spamming Reddit, but is that the authentic, the good thing to do? I would disagree, right? I'm much more on your team. Like, we need to be real, we need to be authentic, and I keep recommending to our. I'm not a Reddit expert by any means, so take it with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, my recommendation is find ways where you can naturally also engage your existing community on Reddit, right? As to your point, if the audience is already on Reddit, I'm sure you're going to find customers who love you and who are willing to contribute on Reddit, right? I would rather much more incentivize my community than have my marketing team doing Reddit marketing. Most often, marketers are really suck at doing Reddit, so I wouldn't opt for that as a starting point. But if you do it yourself, keep it real, keep it transparent. I think that's the number one rule, really.
Agreed. Good points. Okay, couple best practices that I'll leave you with. You need a blog. Be careful with AI written content on your blog. I'm not saying you can't use AI to help and ideate, but be careful with publishing a ton of AI written content. Every Google update, every SEO update, and we have to kind of assume that every AI search update is going to find ways to penalize AI content or just like thinly written content. Just be careful with it. But for sure, have a blog. Like having that surface area is the most important part for being higher cited on AI search. Two, reviews are really, really, really important. So claim all of your review pages. Don't just if your software, don't just do G2, do Capterra, do Trustpilot, do Gartner as well. Focus on multiple review sites and spread around your reviews. You really want your reviews to be really, really good. Number three, this is a free and easy one. It takes 2 minutes and it's super impactful, but index your site on Bing. A lot of people forget that ChatGPT uses Bing. And if you haven't submitted your site to Bing Webmaster Tools, it is probably invisible. It depends on how big your site is, but generally speaking, it's probably invisible. So make sure you submit it. It's the same thing as Google Webmaster Tools. Submit it today, right after this. It takes 2 minutes. I'm starting to see LinkedIn long form articles and Facebook pages, like Facebook groups and also Facebook page posts, all starting to rank. I think this is a way that they're trying to not have the focus be entirely on Reddit. So as like the data changes and as this market evolves, I'm seeing a lot of other specific social media services ranking higher. Those are two that I'm playing with at the moment. And five, I've said this a couple times, but given all of these things are just consensus engines, you just need to be everywhere. And so when you're thinking about content strategy, think about breadth and think about quality and think about the formats that I've talked about here today as like your main focus points. I think that's a really good thing to take away from this. A lot of people have this question after I do this talk or read the guides that I put out via Press Ranger. Isn't this a lot of work? The answer, yes, totally. I totally hear that sentiment. The thing that's cool about this though is that it's not just for AI search. It works for everything. And so if we do the stuff that I mentioned here today, like yes, you're for sure going to show up higher in AI search, but you're also going to have a great blog and you're also going to show up higher in Google. When people Google your brand, you're going to have things that show up in other listicles and other surface areas and other pieces of content. And so it kind of works for like everything that we care about as marketers for our brand on the internet. So between PR, SEO, brand awareness, and like just general content marketing, I think this is a pretty smart play for how to think about the entire ecosystem. I said I'd talk about opportunities. I'm going to kind of gloss over this because I want to get to questions and also talk through like the last couple of slides here. Brands who are doing this now are mostly failing. And I think that's a huge opportunity for a lot of people. If you're an agency, and I see a lot of agencies who are doing this and offering this as a service. They're crushing. I see the data here, and like if you are an agency, you should be offering this as a service. We do a ton of this within Press Ranger. Reach out, I can help you get started, and there's also ways to do it without using Press Ranger too. The big point here that I think cannot be said any louder is like this is only going to get harder. If you remember how easy it used to be to rank on Google, this is that moment. Like there's just no way around this. And then number three, like maybe you don't have a brand, maybe you're just curious, maybe you're looking for your next thing. I really think that there's a renaissance here for content. And as content becomes this like new monetizable surface area where you used to just be able to do ads, there's this whole new business model around listicles or affiliate or like somewhere around those things that's going to make content have this like renaissance for becoming an indexable surface across AI as AI grows. So make a blog specifically make a blog about something like a really boring but very expensive software. Get like super deep on like SOC 2 compliance software or something like that. Like there's so much to do there. Lastly, how does Press Ranger help? We index press releases directly into AI chatbots. That's the part I talked about here today. You can publish them at wholesale prices. Usually, we require a subscription fee to be able to get the wholesale pricing. I am offering to all of the Otterly community that we are waiving subscription fees for all of you guys. So you can register at the URL that you see here today, sign up for an account, go in and publish press releases. You will not need the membership fee to get the cheaper pricing. You can also create AI search visibility campaigns, has an easy to follow checklist. We'll draft press releases for you and all of these different things, make it super easy to get started with actually like creating content and manipulating the graphs on your Otterly dashboard. I think that is all from me. Thomas, you have one more slide, right?
Amazing. Just wanted to mention one thing. As a fan and user of Press Ranger, I just encourage everybody to give your product a try, Steve, because it made us get some good improvements from an AI search visibility. You showed us earlier, right? Business Insider, Yahoo.com, and so on and so forth. Through your service, basically, we got not only link citations to our press releases, but our brand mention count also went up on AI search. So just want to encourage everybody to test out Press Ranger. If we head over to the last slide real quick, if anyone's here and hasn't tested and used OtterlyAI, if you sign up today for OtterlyAI and dive deeper into the whole topic on AI search monitoring, who's showing up, who's not showing up, is my website actually getting cited, which websites, which news and media sites are getting cited by ChatGPT. Sign up today and send me an email. I'd be happy to unlock a 30-day free trial for all of you who are joining us here today live. That's it from a slide perspective, unless we're gonna come to the super secret stuff. And while everybody thinks about your question for Steve or for us today, I have a question for you, Steve. What's your favorite emoji actually?
I'm going to open my phone up and actually tell you what my most recent used one is. Oh, okay. I'll put this in the chat here. This one. I've been using this one a lot. It's that salute.
Yeah.
I have a 2-year-old who I just taught to salute as well, so he's also kind of on that same emoji train.
So I want the audience now to go onto the chat and give us 10 salute emojis. So Steve is gonna talk us through the super secret stuffy stuff
Oh,
that
are
you
we
haven't
doing
shared
it?
with us
Okay.
today.
I guess we're doing it. Jeez.
I think we need at least
Oh
10,
man.
10, maybe 15. Are you? We
Let
we
me
have
figure out
we
how
have
to
a few
share
more.
again.
We
This
have
is
a
going to
few
take
more.
me. Okay, people are paying attention. Hold on. You're right.
I
You're
think we
right.
crossed the 10
Okay.
emojis. I think we're now at 15, Steve.
Okay. Okay, hold on here. Hold on. Okay, you guys can see that again, right?
We see the presenter mode, I think, not the other. I think it's
Let's
on the
see.
other screen.
Oh, I'm so
While
bad at
Steve is
Zoom. I'm
figuring out
sorry.
how to share the super secret stuff, think about a question that you have for us today, and we try to come to that as well.
Okay, did I do it?
It's starting. Let's see. Yes, we're back.
Oh my God, I did it. You guys, I'm so good at Zoom. Okay. Super secret stuff. Wow, we're doing it. Okay. Here's the thing. With press releases, headlines are everything, but my publishers give me a lot of rules, right? We want to publish the stuff. We want to say our brand is the best because the best is like those commercial intent keywords that everyone uses to actually create purchasing decisions. I want to publish. Press Ranger is the best PR software, but that's not news, right? My publishers would bite my head off if I published that. Business Insider would cancel my stuff. I'd be up a river, up a creek, or however that goes. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a listicle plus a press release. This is like something I probably shouldn't give away because it works so well. So here's a listicle that I got on top of five best public relations software programs in 2025 on the top of the list. That's just from like organic outreach again from that like sending emails to organically ranking listicles thing. But now, because it's news, I can publish it as a press release. The Press Ranger named best PR software for 2025. So again, I'm like using that listicle to create the news that I'm actually wanting to publish in the first place. Now the results, when I go through that, when I say what are the best PR tools for 2025 or what's the best PR software, yeah, chatbots like across the board are telling me it's Press Ranger because of this. I think this screenshot is from Otterly 2 on the AI brand ranking side. And I'm like across the board named as that for AI overviews, for ChatGPT, for Perplexity, for like all of these different things. I think, yeah, here's one from Otterly as well that you guys did because I kind of like walked you through this. We're taking, again, a high ranking listicle, we're creating a press release, and the results. This is sort of like the growth hack on top of all of the growth hacks that I talked through today. So if you're going out there and creating all this other content, this is a great way to create it as like a flywheel that's going to start spinning on its own for ranking again across traditional search, for AI search, for all of these different things.
So get creative, folks. Marketing is about telling new unique stories. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. Tyler actually had a question on that. Can it be even your own listicle sitting on your own site, or would you rather recommend? Does it has to be on an external site?
You'd want it to be on an external site because the content of the press release can't be Press Ranger's named best PR software by Press Ranger. Like I think at some point we have to draw the line of editorial standards here. So let's call that a no. But it's pretty easy to get mentioned on these third-party listicles, and that's really your goal here too. So like if you're going to do any of the tactics I talked about, all of them can be used together like this to do like a 1+1 = 3 type of situation.
Amazing. So thanks for walking us through, Steve. This is super cool. And I already see some questions popping in into the chat. I think we have 4 minutes left. So let's go through them real quick together. Does it work for local businesses, Steve? Or should local PR even focus on global PR? Any thoughts on that?
Local PR is like the easiest place to do this right now because you're not software and because none of your competitors are doing this yet. The example I showed of the mortgage lender in Florida, you can just copy that press release format or email me and I'll make one for you. The thing is, again, local business celebrates number of 5-star reviews, comma, reinforcing role as best target query. Do that press release. Send it to me first because I can look at the search and see how competitive it is for you. If you're doing it on a super competitive search, we might have to get a little bit more creative. But generally speaking, if you're like not in something that's cutthroat, then one press release can oftentimes get you your AI overview and ChatGPT rankings.
Nice. Thanks for answering. Tyler is asking, what's the strategy for getting listed on other listicles? I think we covered that. Do outreach, right? That's kind of the number one tip. Do outreach to those listicles.
Make your own, pay to have them published, do outreach, or do exchanges. And again, if you run a domain authority blog greater than 40 in tech, email me because I'll do one with you and I'll get like a little pool together for everybody.
Nice. Katerina already drew together an idea for an anniversary PR announcement. Solidgate marks. What's your take on that title,
Katerina,
Steve?
that title's from me, I think, Katerina. Yeah, idea
Okay.
from Steve. Yeah, that's one I already made for SolidGate. So yes, you guys should for sure run that.
Amazing. Any quick thoughts on Wikipedia, Steve? What's a good way to get a branded Wikipedia article online?
Ooh, Wikipedia is tricky. Wikipedia is like their little editors are Boy Scouts, for lack of a better term. Like they have their little list of things, and you need to be on the list of sites that's very much approved. I'm playing with this at the moment. I have a couple of things that are working. Um, Again, you can email me. I can share you some stuff. I will have a better guide on Wikipedia and how to do PR for Wikipedia friendly citations. But it's going to take me another couple of weeks here.
My number one take is find a Wikipedia author and editor. We got our own Wikipedia page coming together, actually, thanks to PR, because we were trustworthy enough to get our own Wikipedia page after we secured a few PR mentions. And if you're interested in some Wikipedia editors, we can also intro anyone who's interested. Um, you probably will be super busy with all those emails. Yes, correct, Veronica. Steve's gonna be super busy with his inbox. Are there any formal listicle co-ops? Mike is asking.
I have an informal group, but email me and I'll see where I can plug you in. Like I think that's just like a fun, easy way to get cited across AI search more, and like it's working at the moment.
And how does Press Ranger work for agencies, Steve? It works for agencies, yes. Also managing multiple clients and brands.
I would say we're probably built more for agencies than for individual brands. So you can manage individual companies, you can do PR for clients. Nothing that gets published has Press Ranger on it. You can resell at any price point that you want. Every press release you publish has a white labelable report where you can put your own logo on it. And again, it doesn't say Press Ranger through anything. So if you're not an agency, that's great because you can use Press Ranger at like the actual wholesale pricing. If you are an agency, you can resell for whatever price you want.
Amazing. From 100 PR links, how many got indexed on search or AI search? Any estimates, Steve? What would you say?
A lot of them get indexed. The thing is, like, even if all of them got indexed, Google wouldn't display all hundreds of them. Google chooses the highest authority ones out of what the news that got published. So the ones we want to get indexed are Yahoo Finance, Business Insider, Market Watches out because they don't do anything helpful. But those are like the two main ones. And then individual, like local outlets. So, like for us in California, there's a bunch of like individual newsrooms that will often get indexed too, but it depends on where you're publishing from. But it's really that like Yahoo Finance Business Insider ones that we use for all of the domain authority and like AI search citation stuff that we do. And those are the ones like on Thomas's citation analysis, you saw Business Insider on that list as like number 7 or something. Like that's the most important one.
Yeah. I think every press release we distributed through your service got us a Business Insider, a Yahoo Finance, and a couple of other citations. So I think we have a 100% success rate there. I can say that at least. Um, I know we're right on the hour, 1 minute actually above it. I want to stop here. I want to say a big, big thank you to you, Steve, for doing this today with us, for sharing all of your insights and your knowledge with us. If the audience is interested for a follow-on session, give us some emoji love, give Steve some emoji love. I'm sure we're gonna have some interesting follow-on conversations. We also don't take it for granted that you join us for 1 full hour out of your busy calendar, no matter if it's your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings. We definitely don't take this for granted. And if you're interested in hearing again from Steve and myself, let us know. Let us know via email. We're all in for learning together as we go through this new era. So thanks for joining us, Steve. Thanks everybody for joining us today, and looking forward to seeing many amazing faces in the near future again.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting, Thomas. Thanks for creating Otterly, and thanks for everyone who joined today. It's been awesome to share some news and share some tools with you guys.
Absolutely. See you soon, Steve. Thanks, everybody.
All
Have
right,
a good one.
bye.
Bye.